Yo, what's up, guys? And today we're going to be talking about the massive post-credit scenes for Thunderbolts. Marvel has kind of already been talking about what the asterisk means for this movie, and they're pretty much spoiling the movie themselves. So I think now's a pretty good time to talk about everything that happened. And obviously, there's going to be a huge spoiler warning because we're going to be breaking down the post-credit scene. But not only for the post-credit scene, we're also going to be spoiling basically the main plot and details of the movie. So, with that being said, let's get into this quick little summary of the movie. So, our main characters, Yelena, John Walker, Ghost, and Taskmaster, are all working for Val, and they've been doing this for a couple years, it seems like. And Val basically tricks him into going into a vault in the middle of the desert. Their goal is to all kill each other. Yelena's on a mission to kill Ghost. Ghost is on a mission to kill Taskmaster. Taskmaster's on a mission to kill John Walker. And John Walker's on a mission to kill Yelena. So it's basically a giant trap. And the reasoning for this is because obviously Val is a pretty shady person and she's being exposed for it. And she's on the verge of being impeached for all this. So to get rid of all this evidence, she's trying to just basically kill all these people who have worked for her, and that way none of this can get out. So Ghost actually kills Taskmaster. During this fight, they bump into a crate which is containing Sentry, but for now we just know him as Bob. Bob is super sketchy, super weird, and we'll learn more about him later. They work together, John Walker, Yelena, Ghost, and Bob, to try getting out of this vault and try escaping and try stopping Val. But Val is aware of this and realizes her plan didn't work and they're actually teaming up. And she sends a army and a unit of soldiers to kill all of these people. During this action scene, Bob gets shot at multiple times, but the bullets do nothing to him. This is where we realize that Bob was part of a project that Val was working on called Project Sentry, and he's basically more powerful than all the Avengers rolled into one. So he's a super important character going forward. So basically what happens is Val and her team take Bob to the new Avengers Tower, which is renamed to Sentry's Watchtower, basically. She runs tests on him and basically helps him learn his powers. And she's just going to have him be like her assistant and do whatever she wants, pretty much. That's her plan. Yelena's dad, Red Guardian, comes through with his limo and picks the team up and helps them escape. But when they're about to get caught, like you see in the trailers, Bucky comes to save them. Bucky's basically trying to keep them alive and get them to testify against Val and get her in prison or impeached. They wind up forming a team and working together, and they call themselves the Thunderbolts, which is named after Yelena's childhood soccer team. The Thunderbolts make their way to Val and try turning her in, but when they get to the Watchtower, Val sends Sentry after them. Sentry completely obliterates the team, and they have to scatter and run away, and the team actually breaks up for a few moments. They learn more about each other and realize that there's a reason they were together and that they need each other and that they're going to help each other. And they have to be the heroes to stop Val and stop Sentry, who is kind of turning bad. So the Sentry's darker half takes over and starts causing havoc and chaos all throughout the city. And the team tries their best to save everybody. But the Void turns everything into darkness, and Yelena is brave enough to walk into this darkness and embrace her fear and challenges, and because of this, the rest of the team follows after her. We see Yelena's past and see her trauma, and we also see Sentry's, and that when he was a kid, that his dad was abusive towards him and his mom, and his mom used to say that was his fault, so that kind of has a lot of impact on him now. But the team manages to calm Bob down and get him to turn good again and comfort him and realize that he just needs a family and needs to be supported and needs to be loved. And at the end of the movie, they all come together and form that team. But after all this cools down, Val essentially tricks them into a public press conference and brings them out and says that they're the new Avengers. This means that Val's basically out of all the trouble she was going to get into, and she says that she basically grouped them up and realized that the Avengers need to come back, and she calls them the new Avengers. That brings us to the post-credit scene where it's 14 months after all this, and the team, which consists of Yelena, John Walker, Ghost, Red Guardian, and Bucky, and Bob, all are living in what seems to be Sentry's watchtower, and they're just like the new Avengers, basically operating like the Avengers did in Phase 2, when they were living in the Avengers Tower. There's also a post-credit scene that takes place before that, which is just a funny scene, and it basically shows that the Thunderbolts have become the heroes on the Wheatie box, and Red Guardian is at a grocery store, and he's trying to persuade a lady into buying that cereal box, and basically he's like saying like, we're the new Avengers, and that's me on the box, and basically just trying to get her to buy the box. Just a funny scene. And then the big scene, the group is basically talking about basically just their new lives. We see a lot of them in new looks. Bucky has a new arm sleeve. Ghost has a very similar look, but her hair is different. Yelena has like a new suit, and then John Walker has a new hat and suit. Basically what they talk about is that Sam Wilson is basically trying to sue them for copyright because he already has a new Avengers team. So that's the important thing. There's already a new Avengers team with Sam, and he's not happy about this. Bucky says that he tried talking to him and things didn't go well. So who knows what that means, but we can get more on that later. Red Guardian comes out and basically says to avoid the copyright claim, they should call themselves the New Avengers with a Z instead of an S. And it's just a pretty funny scene from there. But this post-credit scene is super long. But after that, a robot or AI, something in the tower, alerts them that a multiversal space gateway opened, and we see the Fantastic Four ship come through that. So that's where the post-credit scene ends. There's a lot of big reveals there. One thing that has came out since the movie is that this was actually filmed on the set of Avengers Doomsday. So the new suits and all that stuff, the new looks for these characters are going to probably be what they look like in Doomsday. Also, this means that Doomsday takes place probably within these 14 months, because if you look at the other things that the Russo brothers have done, like Civil War, the post-credit scene for Ant-Man is literally just a scene from Civil War. So I think that might be what they're trying to do here. Maybe that's a scene from Doomsday, but if it's not, then it's probably just going to be like one of the bridges that like fills in the gap. But it's also interesting that Sam said that he has an Avengers team. So now we could talk about who we think is on that Avengers team. I think we'll save that for later, like probably a different video, because there's a lot of options, obviously. And with the Doomsday casting chairs, there's very likely options now. And this conflict with Bucky and Sam could be very interesting because, one, why is there a conflict? I think Sam has a problem with this team because of two reasons. And I kind of see that they're biased reasons, but I think it could give Sam a very interesting arc in these next two Avengers movies. So I think the problem he has with this is because Sentry, I think he thinks Sentry should probably be turned into the government and that he's too powerful to just be out there on a team. It could also be that John Walker's on the team and he doesn't like John Walker, but I'm leaning towards the Sentry thing. It could also just be that all of them have like very sketchy history and like they all are kind of bad guys or anti-heroes. They're not like heroes, and they need the Avengers to be back and like be heroes, especially with everything that happened in Civil War, because they were on the verge of breaking up. They did break up. It's only because Thanos attacked that the Avengers got back together, and right after that problem was neutralized, the Avengers were done. So I think those are the reasons why Sam has a problem with it. The interesting part about this is Sam was on Captain America's side. So he was on Bucky's side. and they were defending Bucky. They were saying, yes, he did wrong things, and yes, they're bad, but he was brainwashed and he had no choice. It's the government's problem. It's basically that was all Hydra's doing. So Sam should be mad at Val and upset with her and the government, not Sentry. This is not Sentry's fault. So Sam would kind of be like a hypocrite there, but I still think that's very interesting because when you're the face of Captain America and the new face, that shows that he has to be different. Like, he's a very different Captain America, and obviously Sam's not a main character like Steve was. I think Sam's importance in this movie, though, will be somebody to look up to and somebody to lead a team. Now, the main characters are probably going to be Reed and Spider-Man, or just Reed right now because Spider-Man's not in it as far as we know. Neither is Doctor Strange, but I could see those three being the main characters of this movie. Sam probably won't be a main character, but his role is going to be very important and specific. And I could also see some of the Avengers like telling Sam, like, we understand what you're saying, but a lot of us have had sketchy past and stuff. Like, everybody on Team Captain America's side was a fugitive. They all broke the law, and they're still heroes. So if Sam has a problem with any of those things, there's good reasoning for him to be like, okay, you're my friend. I'm going to put these problems aside. And I realize that you guys are only trying to help. You know what I mean? And they need all the help they can get. So I think that's a very interesting arc for Sam and Bucky. And maybe if the rumors are true that we get like a Hydra Captain America, we could see Sam, Bucky, maybe even John Walker team up to stop Steve. So yeah, the bigger thing is the Fantastic Four and what happens from here. So I think the Fantastic Four are obviously on the ship. I don't think it's just them though. I think it's obviously Franklin. We're pretty sure he's going to be in the movie. And I think it's also Herbie. I'm assuming that their universe is destroyed and that's why they go to this one. But I could be wrong. Maybe Galactus destroys their universe or their world and they go to a different universe. Or if you've been keeping up with Fantastic Four First Steps, people are saying and theorizing that Galactus is after Franklin. So maybe this could be them leading Galactus to a different world and a different universe. Maybe, but that's not really heroic. So I don't know if that's what they would do. Who knows? We'll have to wait for Fantastic Four First Steps there. But I think this does tell us a good bit about Doomsday. One, the Fantastic Four and Avengers and New Avengers are all probably going to be together pretty early on in the movie. And they'll probably all fight against the X-Men whenever they get involved. So I really am getting vibes and a feeling that it's going to be very similar to Infinity War. Like, I think when Hulk crashes down into the Sanctum Sanctorum, I think it's going to be very similar to that. And he tells everybody that Thanos is coming. I think the Fantastic Four are going to go onto Earth and tell either one of these Avengers team that Doctor Doom is coming and warn them all about the multiversal stuff. I could see maybe a fight scene. I don't know how Doom will attack. Is it going to be him? Is it going to be an army? Is it going to be Doombots? I have no idea. But I could see a fight scene early on with the Fantastic Four and New Avengers just to get us in that zone. Like, we got a fight scene with Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Wong, Hulk, and Spider-Man at the beginning of Infinity War. And they were going against the Black Order, or Collapsidian and Ebony Maw. So I could see something very similar there. But if it doesn't happen like that, then I could just see them getting on whatever adventure they need to get on and whatever they need to do to stop Doom. That's where things will probably go. I think this could also tell us a little bit about Sentry's future, because in the post-credit scene, he says that he hasn't like gone out as like Sentry because if he comes out, then the Void is at risk of coming out too. And I think that's very weird because Sentry's so powerful that he's going to have to be used to stop Doctor Doom and whatever threats are in the future. So I could definitely see Sentry having a very similar role to like Thor and Hulk, like they had in Infinity War, where Hulk wouldn't come out because he was basically scared of Thanos, and Thor was just trying to get a weapon to defeat Thanos. I think Reed could be a very key person into helping Sentry figure out how to just stay a Sentry and not get the Void part, kind of like how Hulk is figuring out how to get the best of both worlds. So I think Sentry will have a scene like Thor, where maybe when all hope is lost, Sentry comes in and balances out the fight. Obviously, they're not going to win in Doomsday, so I think Sentry's going to get some good hits in and look like he's going to win, but I think Doom, to show how powerful he is, I think Doom takes Sentry out. Probably not going to kill him, but beat him, and yeah. That's honestly all we can really get from this post-credit scene. It's very big and it was long, but they didn't give us a whole lot of answers, so I don't really know. These are just the things I'm thinking and guessing and assuming based off of what we saw, but there's really no telling. So yeah, with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.